Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks MLB update. Great to have you with us today. Beautiful. Well, not beautiful. It's hot and a little muggy, but it's turned out better than it was supposed to be. We're supposed to get some severe thunderstorms, and they seem to have passed. So we'll see how that goes. I want to welcome everybody watching today on the TGI Sports Talk Facebook page, the YouTube page, the Twitter X page, on Roku on the National Streaming Sports Network's Roku channel. If you haven't downloaded that, please do so. And also on Let's Talk Sports YouTube feed. A quick shout out to Ralph Williams from RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff over there, including the Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoking Jim Frazier from Pittsburgh. Ralph does a lot of other stuff as well, both sports and, just general commentary. So Ralph does some great stuff. We'll have to get Ralph on one of these days for sure. And DDH, thumbs up. My thanks to Mr. Paul Rosen, para athlete, if you will. He participated in the Paralympics as a hockey player, won a gold medal at 46 years old in the Paralympics. Also was the oldest rookie in Olympic hockey history in 2001. We had a great talk today. You've written a great book, which you want to take a look at as well. Never Give Up. Basically the Paul Rosen story. And I had a great time with Paul today. And I thank Chris F. Gray for helping me put together. He was in Australia live. He's doing some coaching in Australia. So we have a new friend of the show. And if Paul's around, we certainly welcome. He's probably sleeping now, I would hope, in Australia. Next week, we'll have Jim Sundberg will be our special guest on One-on-One with Keith Engle, former Texas Ranger catcher. Came up at a very ripe age and played for one Billy Martin. Was traded later on to the Kansas City Royals, and was an integral part of that 1985 World Series that we talk a lot about. I talked with Buddy Biancalana about it. We talk about it when we talk about umpires and human error being a big part of sports in my mind. So we'll talk about Jim about lots of things. Very good friend of Greg Pryor, who was our very first guest on this show back in 2020. So welcome, everybody. Overcoming the effects of yet another oral surgery. I've had 6 weeks from hell, let me tell you. This one is healing up faster. I'm still a little sore. Not a lot of solid foods in me, but we're going to go out and have a beverage with an old friend. Rich, don't know if you're watching, but look forward to seeing you here at 4:30ish up at Powers Pub. I think it's Powers Pub. Haven't seen Rich in, I don't know. I think 25 years, 20-ish years. Good friend in high school. He played second base. I played shortstop, and we were good buddies and kind of drifted apart a bit. He's living here in the same area that I am, and we've been trying to put this together for about a year, and we finally just said we got to get together. So it's going to happen today, and I'm looking forward to it. If you're there, Rich. Today we'll get into some stuff. I want to get into. We're going to look at the standings, but at the same time, I want to look at the trade market for each team as we'll go division by division, and we'll go over to the trade market. I'll go with some notes made by one of the guys from The Athletic and add some comments of my own, and you guys can certainly comment. And then we'll look at some news around the league. Listen, Jose Abreu released by the Astros. Realmuto is hurt for the Phillies. Big blow for them. Kevin Biggio, we had a trade here a week or so ago. I'm trying to remember who the heck it was. It's escaping me now. But Kevin Biggio, one of the first to get traded here before the deadline. We'll look at more. Never really amounted to what he was supposed to. He was supposed to be a pretty good prospect, along with Bichette, both sons of big league ball players, and along with Vlad Guerrero, 3 sons of Major League Baseball players. That might be a record on one team. But we'll take a look at that. basically the Yankees still have the best record in baseball, playing well. Again, my team. I know Danny Fuller thinks I'm really hard on my team, but I'm just open. I walk into everything with my eyes wide open. I know where the weaknesses are. I've seen them up close for a bunch of years now. This team's going to have to succeed in the postseason for me to really get excited. And not because I'm spoiled, my team needs to win for me to be happy, but I've watched this team fail, and some of the shortcomings I see here when they are not playing well are things that have not boded well, haven't bode well maybe for them in the past. The White Sox still on a 121 game loss pace. Let's go White Sox. They'll be unloading pretty much everybody. Luis Robert will be one of the guys that everybody's trying to bring in, including the Yankees maybe. Baltimore won't go away though. They're only 2.5 games behind the Yankees. Cleveland's still playing great ball. Seattle is playing a little bit better, and the Rangers and the Astros are among the biggest disappointments in baseball. Phillies hanging in there against the Braves. I don't know why I can't keep my screen on here. Bear with me. And I can't read that note, so whatever. Let's say a good few hellos and see what we got going on here. Drew, good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry. All-Star Game articles and predictions coming out. Who the hell cares? They agree. You know what? I was going to talk about this too, at the risk of getting sidetracked and not getting to what I wanted to talk about, but that's fine. The trade market isn't going to happen tomorrow. I used to live for the All-Star Game. Back in the day when there wasn't a proliferation of baseball on TV, the only way I could see the Hank Aaron's, the Willie Mays was in an All-Star Game, basically. Where I lived, we'd get 10 Yankee games a year. And then the playoffs and the World Series, that's all the baseball we got. Then you had Saturday afternoon baseball. I shouldn't say that. Then finally Monday night baseball. But still, I couldn't watch every Yankee game. I couldn't watch a game every night, or much less multiple games every night. But the All-Star Game stinks now. They don't care. They don't play. Just like NBA and NFL, they don't care. They wear uniforms. It used to be, and again, I was excited to see Henry Aaron in his Braves uniform and Willie Mays in his Giant uniform, and go on and on and on and on. Now these guys wear clown outfits, and I can't even tell who the hell they are. God, here I am. Right away, Drew, you got me in my cranky old man mode. Whatever. But it's funny you brought that up, because kind of tied to that is these City Connect uniforms. Can we stop with the frickin' beer league frickin' uniforms these guys want to wear? Most of these, maybe there's something out there that looks good. If there is, share a picture and I'll put it up. I don't know if you can put a picture in the comments or not, but send it to me in Messenger. I might be able to put it up. Is there one good-looking City Connect uniform out there that doesn't look like a bunch of freaking clowns? Oh, my God. Yankees will be wearing theirs soon. I think they got a 4th of July uniform, unless it was something that was, clickbait the other day. It's all to sell freaking more stuff. That's all it's for. Stop. Man. Anyway, Drew, hi. JB. Thank God it's Francis. Hello, Keith. Oh, hello, JB. Thank God it's Francis. Steve Orpello, hello from Perth, New York. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Could be worse, the NFL joke of flag football. It's getting to be the same way. These guys out there fraternizing. They're all mic'd up. They wear uniforms. I can't tell who they are, Rick. I mean, good God. At least the NFL stopped playing their game. I'd rather see them play flag football than play something that's pretend football. These games used to be fun because they used to be real games. Ask Pete Rose. Ask Ray Fosse. My God. Oh, boy. Hello, Chris F. Rave. Great to have you with us. Chris was instrumental in getting Paul Rosen on this morning for the one-on-one with Keith Engle show. I appreciate that. We had a great time, and I made a new friend. That crazy Blue Jay prospect team also featured the sons of Roger Clemens and Mark Gruzel. Can never say his name. Gruzelanek. Close enough. I think the D is silent. Interesting fact, Chris. Cody Clemens, I think. I know he played with the Astros, I thought. I don't know where Cody Clemens also played. And I don't remember Mark G's son ever playing, but I certainly am not going to doubt you. But it's amazing. What team has ever had that kind of just these three guys? And then if you want to include these two, because again, I don't know that Cody Clemens, I think it's Cody, or Mark G's son ever made it to the majors. These three guys made it to the majors almost together. I think Vlad was a bit earlier than Biggio and Bichette, and Biggio's the one who's worked out the least, if you will. I think he was okay as a rookie, and he's gotten progressively worse. He plays all over the place now. He came up as a second baseman, and he's playing third. He played for third for the Dodgers the other night, so we'll see how that goes. What's Drew got? Fantasy baseball update? Thanks. We got to rub it in my face. Drew really wants to get me going today. Just kidding. I'm actually kicking his ass right now, which means you're going to win now, Drew, because I said that. Oh, God. Rick's rebounding nicely this week and could move up to fourth from sixth. Keith is solidly in last place in this league, but is beating. Yeah. Did you rebuild your bench? How about rebuilding your starting lineup so I can beat you by about 18? There's Rich Edwards, who I mentioned a second ago. Good to see you, Rich. Looking forward to seeing you here in a little over an hour. Rich, I was trying to decide how long it'd been, and I know I'm pretty sure I was living in Mayfield, and I might have got together with you and Tim and at Jackamuka's old place. I don't know what it was at that point. It could have been. Oh my God! It could have been. There goes my mind again. It'll be a great conversation, Rich. I have to carry it up. My mind is like a sieve. Oh my God, it'll come to me. Anyway, I think it was like 2000. I could be wrong. Time and I have a very bad relationship. JB, what do you got? Bess was voting. Oh, I didn't answer your question though. You're going to wear your clown outfit later. You got a City Connect uniform? Please, can we put these things away? I'm tired of you trying to sell me something else. I'm not buying it. I buy Yankee shorts and a Yankee, top. This isn't my Yankee top, but I do have several very tasteful pieces of Yankee paraphernalia. I don't even buy jerseys. I'm 64 years old. But you want to sell kids 8 different kinds of jerseys. Stop. JB. Best was voting at the stadium in the 70s. Paper ballot, hanging chads. That's awesome. Nice reference there, JB. I like that. Keep losing my... bear with me here a second. I get your comments. I got to do something. Keep this screen from falling down on me. Bear with me. I forgot I restarted my internet. I've had some internet issues here the last couple of days. The TV was awful last night. The audio kept losing its sync. Anyway, JB, that was awesome. The hanging chads, the Gillette. Gillette was the sponsor. Yeah, punch it out your ticket. All your favorite players. Stuff the ballot with Yankees, not Orioles. I saw Roger Clemens play with the Alley Cats, or the Valley Cats. Probably, I think you missed a V there. I believe he was drafted by the Astros. And again, he probably did play with the Blue Jays organization at some point. I'm not sure if he made it to the majors, but he might have. Anyway, here's what I want to do right now. You guys can put up comments. You can put up topics as always. I'm going to go through the standings. And as we do it, each time we go through a division, we're going to take a quick look at those teams and who they might target in the trade market. We're only, 6 weeks away from the trade deadline. Never too soon to start speculating. Some of these are pie in the sky stuff. But the other tool, you call me a tool in the 70s out, JB. I know we're getting close, but this is a little close. The other tool for the 70s was Baseball Info, was the sweet sound of This Week in Baseball. Mel Allen. Listen, I was just talking about this. You know, my mom and dad were separated. We saw my dad on weekends and whatnot. The first stop we made every Sunday morning was Trash Cigar Store on Main Street, corner of Market and Main in Amsterdam. And we get the sporting news. And we get Times Union. And it's, you know, that's when you saw the baseball stats, right? Didn't see them. We didn't have the internet in 1970, blah, blah, blah. You're dating yourself here, JB. That was great pouring through those box scores and the statistics, right? And by the way, we got like all the important statistics like wins and losses, strikeouts, and ERA, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, hits, batting average, stuff that matters, right? No WAR, no exit velocities. Anyway, American League East. We get some comments here. Hold on. You got to stop, Chris. Where is he playing? Where is Luke Vogt anyway? 13 homers and 31 RBIs? That is his Babe Ruthian performance when he first came to the Yankees. Where is he? Now I got to find out. Just why we never get anything done on this show. We get sidetracked right and left. It's like the Major League Baseball stream of consciousness. Where are you, Luke? Baseball Reference, everybody's best friend. If you're where? He's not playing anywhere. 2023 is the last stats I got for him. What are you talking about? Oh, he's got to be in the minor leagues. All right. I could go hit 13 homers in the minor leagues. That's a lie, but whatever. Robert Wardell going to tell me how the Mariners are doing. I just gave the Mariners a compliment. They are playing better baseball. Again, I still think they could rue the fact that they did not put their foot on the Astros' neck when they had them down. The Astros have reverted to some bad baseball again recently. The Rangers can't get out of their own way, trying to get to 500. Mariners need to be running away from these guys. Anyway, who do you think they can get? Well, since you asked specifically, we'll go right to the Mariners. I wasn't going to do it this way, but for you, Robert, I will. After this, I want to go back to division by division. So here's what I think. To me, they need a bat for the corners and a bullpen arm. I think they'll be in play for Pete Alonso, possibly. Vlad Guerrero is going to be on the market. These are going to be hot commodities, most likely. Luis Robert, Paul Goldschmidt, what's he got left in the tank? I don't know. It's going to depend also on where the Cardinals stand come the trade deadline. Josh Bell's definitely getting traded. I would say he's a fit. Lane Thomas from the Nationals, Taylor Ward. And the relief pitchers, you're going to hear these names with all these teams, right? Tanner Scott, Kyle Finnegan, who's doing really well with the Nationals, also sitting on my bench. Lucas Ursich, Austin Adams. I've said before, I think they have good starting defense or starting pitching. I like that rotation a lot, Robert. You've heard me say that, I think, on this show and other shows as well. They got to get to the playoffs. They get to the playoffs, they got the starting pitching to really run the table. I'm not sure they got enough offense outside of J-Rod and a few other guys. I mean, I think they need to pick up a big bat and bolster that bullpen. That's what I think. You know, this question, I saw Bauer pitching, by the way. He looks about my size, which is too big. I'm about a 2.5 Rich Edwards, probably about this point. It's a shot at me, Rich, not you. It's not that much. I'm sorry. 2. I saw him pitch. He looks like me. He was throwing the ball well. He pitched in the Mexican League. It's possible somebody will. I've said for a long time he shouldn't come back. I know this last woman's entire testimony or claims were all refuted. But this wasn't, I mean, this was the worst incident, but this isn't the only incident for Bauer. I don't like him. He's a bad act. And I don't think he's good for any clubhouse. I really don't. If I'm in a pennant race, the last guy I'm bringing in is Bauer. I said, what did I call him? Jake Bauer? What the hell is his name? Oh, my God. Drew will help me out. Sunday night, Orioles and Phils, Burns and Wheeler. Great matchup. That's a classic matchup right there of guys who will probably pitch no more than 6 innings, so tune in early. Kidding. Oh, he's in Mexico. I could play in Mexico. I'm not even retirement age in the Mexican League. And I'm about the right size, I think, at this point. So I think I've grown into my body, and I think I'm ready to play in the Mexican League. True. Trevor Bauer. Thank you, Drew. Again, Rich, get ready for a lot of long, awkward pauses, similar to have a conversation with Joe Biden. That's what it'll be like talking to me today. I'm in a comical mood today. Maybe I should have beer earlier. Chris, you need to cut down on your expectations of these flash in the pans. Well, there you go. Corey Jukes is hitting 253 now. Drew's got a memory like an elephant. Chris, careful. Victor Robles gets released, didn't he? Oh, yeah. He picked up by the Mariners. Another big prospect for the Mariners just didn't work out. Right? All right. Anyway, where was I? Sidetracked. And by the way, where are you? Who am I thinking about here? Robert. Don't forget, you can put in who you think they ought to go pick up, too. I think they need a bat. And I think they need some bullpen help. I like the rest of this team. Their defense isn't even that bad. So anyway, that's where I look at it. Major League Baseball standings, and we'll start with the East, and we'll look at their I can't go long today either because I got to go beat my buddy Rich. Oh, God. Where am I? Oh, Yankees. The Orioles won't go away. Yankees playing good baseball, 7-3 in the last 10. The Orioles only 2.5 back. The Red Sox, this team is up and down, man. They won 2 in a row, 5-5 the last 10, 13 back. But they're in the wild card race. Game over 500 now. The Blue Jays keep hanging around 500, 200, or 2 games below now. Same with the Rays, 3 games below. What are they going to do? What's the East going to look for? We got time to do this in 35 minutes. We're going to have to go pretty quick. Yankees. I'm looking to replace Glaber, and Glaber can get traded in this move. I don't care. They got the kids in the minors. They've looked at Nolan Gorman. I don't like his batting average, but I like his power. I think he'll play better defense, and I think he's got better baseball instincts than Glaber Torres. Enough said. Jonathan India is another guy that they may be interested in. At first base, and I know he hit a home run yesterday, and I loved Rizzo. I love him. He's glued at infield, but I can't have a guy playing as poorly as he is offensively at a corner position. Same way at third base, by the way. DJ's got to get it going. Or I'm looking for a third baseman here as well. They don't talk about it, but I might consider a left fielder. Luis Robert, I'd be in conversation with Luis Robert. He's not coming cheap, by the way. You're going to have to give up prospects to get him. So, and there's going to be a lot of teams in play. Other players surrounding the Yankees, Vlad Guerrero, possibility. Blue Jays probably won't trade him in the division. Pete Alonso, not interested. I got enough strikeout home run guys in this lineup. Yandy Diaz, maybe. Joe Connor. Paul Goldschmidt. Again, is Paul Goldschmidt going to be that big in Yankee Stadium? Is he going to be that big an upgrade over Rizzo? I don't know. Josh Bell, same thing. Maybe you get Josh Bell and you platoon him with Rizzo. I don't know. But Rizzo and Torres are the two weakest links in this lineup. I'm also not a fan of Stanton, as we know. I'm not going to stop. I'd love to get Guerrero in this lineup, but it won't happen. They're not making that trade. Remember, I think the Yankees are going to probably make small trades. I don't think you're going to see anything big. I don't think you're going to see a Vlad. I'd love to see a Robert. I don't think you're going to see it. They may find another corner outfielder, maybe even a center fielder, and get Judge out of. Oh, they get Robert. They can get Judge out of center field. I might even get Stanton out of the lineup. JB's Orioles. Oh, sorry. By the way, the Yankees are said to be, and everybody's said to be in love with Mason Miller out in Oakland. Mason Miller, the A's don't want to move him. They'll move him if they're overwhelmed, but I don't think they want to move him. The Orioles. Closer, we already know they're Craig Kimbrel. You know, he's been better of late, but he's Craig Kimbrel. Kimbrel. He's as old as I am, by the way. No, he's not. Being without Bautista has really hurt this team. And they're playing well. They could probably use bullpen help like every team in the majors. We'll probably say that for everybody. Right-handed hitting outfielder. Players talked about for them. I don't have any position players, but they'll be in play for maybe trying to think of a right-handed hitter in the outfield. Nobody's coming to me right now. But they'll be looking at, again, Miller, Hensley, Finnegan. Doval is a guy that they potentially got interested in. Tanner Scott's going to come up for every team because the Marlins are so bad. Red Sox, starting pitching because, you know, I could pitch for that team, even though I'm not a pitcher. I guess that's going to be the theme. I could play in the major leagues. Oh, God. Anyway, and shortstop because we know Story's out for the year and Vaughn's not playing. But they could be looking. Their pitching market, I think, is going to be more limited, lower tier, right? Crochet, Sears, who, if he's healthy, Tyler Anderson. Luzardo's a nice pitcher. He's going to come up in a lot of these conversations, and everybody's available for the Marlins, the way I understand it. The Blue Jays are selling, by the way, and they're probably going to want a left fielder and a third baseman. Right now they got, well, I don't know if Vlad's still playing third base, but he was for a while. But long-term, if they're going to try to build long-term and they want to trade prospects, Luis Robert, Taylor Ward, Lane Thomas, who I think is a nice player. Do I think he's a superstar? Absolutely not. Michael Conforto, Randy Rosarina, Ryan McMahon might be. I'm not trading for Ryan McMahon unless this team, and again, this team probably thinks if I get in the playoffs, I can make something happen. So they may be both selling and buying, if that makes sense. And the Rays, you know, they're looking for pitching, starting pitching. All their pitchers are hurt. Their offense has been really bad. You know, they're down Glasnow, they're down McClanahan, they're down. I can't think of the other guy's name right now. But anyway, I think, you know, Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lowe, Josh Lowe, Randy Rosarina could all be available. I think it's all possible. Got some comments here. We'll get some comments here. Biden just laughed at my joke. It's because he didn't get it. We also need someone to point you the way out of the pub. No, I mean, I'm actually going to share some drinks with a responsible adult for a change. Sorry, Mark. Oh, God. Oh, pretty sure he wouldn't want to leave it in the first place. Right? I will. Sir, I can't stay out. It's a Friday. Got a busy weekend. This month could take the Blue Jays right off the table. It's Cleveland, Baltimore, and the Yankees. And then the wild card chase for the other 6 teams. You're right, though. The Blue Jays could be total sellers and not buyers. It's possible. Orioles need bullpen arms. Colomb hurt now. We talked about them needing bullpen arms for sure. They brought up, and they're missing starters too. I'm surprised I would be surprised they didn't look for a starting pitcher, but and maybe one more bat. They brought up ERA maker, Brian Baker. Big 3-game series starting in the house that Ruth built Monday. Actually, this is the house that George built, probably, but the house that Ruth built, sadly, is a remnant now. So, Robert agrees they need a bat. Guerrero is who I want. Guerrero would fit what anybody's going to want Guerrero, I think. And the thing is, somebody's going to have to overpay to get him, probably. I don't doubt that the Blue Jays will trade him. You probably got a better shot than my Yankees, Robert, because I got to believe they wouldn't want to trade him in the division if they don't have to. Dominguez, good point. Drew, there is talk that they're not wanting to rush Dominguez. And by the way, if I could get 2 outfielders, I would take them. I'm not going after Robert and blowing up my farm system. I'm just not doing it. And there's going to be enough suitors for Robert that he's not going to come cheap. But if he came cheap, I'll take 2 outfielders. Because then I can get Soto out of the outfield and get Stanton out of the lineup. Put Soto where he belongs at DH. Not going to happen. I get it. I really expect the Yankees to make some small moves because you've got Dominguez coming up at least for the last couple months, most likely. You've got pitching help coming in, Cole, and a boatload of relievers. I worry about the anchor that is Rizzo and Gleyber Torres right now. And DJ to a certain extent as well. I give him a little time to work into this, but Odor looking to get things going with a no. No. We've been down this road with Odor because his name, he was an Odor when he was here. He was an Odor. He's not the answer. Although it would be refreshing to see anybody in there besides Gleyber right now. Question with the Orioles is whether they'll try to sign Burns or not. Again, that is a question, but it's a question for like when the pennant race is over, probably. I don't think they're going to negotiate with him during the season. Maybe they will. But they're in win now mode, so they're going to concentrate on winning and worry about next year. That's just my opinion. Baltimore, Austin Hayes is fine. Over injuries heating up. Great right field glove. Good point, JB. Red Sox won't try too hard for trades. They really won't make the play. Oh, well, the guys I mentioned, except for Luzardo, maybe, are not high-level players. I think if they make trades, they'll be, so they don't have to call me to pitch come August. It's not worth swapping all their young players. I agree, Drew. And Rays starters are coming back slowly, so they won't need them. We'll see. Again, are we going to count on Springs and Rasmussen? And, well, McClanahan, I don't think can pitch at all. They need starting pitching depth. They do. Remember, they traded Tyler Glasnow. All these kids are going to get traded before they need to be signed or after they get signed. This is their MO. So, again, starting pitching depth may not mean to pitch now, but so they can trade these guys later. Remember what team we're talking about here. They don't keep guys. Anyway, let's go to the Central. The surprise in Cleveland Indians 20 games over 500, still 6-4 in the last 10. They lead by 5 now over the surprising Royals. 500 in their last 10 games over 500. The Twins, another team that's been up and down, hanging in there. They're certainly in a wild card race. In fact, I think they may be leading, or they're second in the wild card race, I think, right in the third. But they're going to stay in that race. The Tigers have been a disappointment for me. They were my surprise team, but they're not out of this. 33 wins, 2 games under 500. The White Sox, as I said, they're on a 121 pace loss run rate. They're selling everybody. Everybody. So who's that bring up for them? Who's going to be looking for what? The Guardians likely looking for a starting pitcher and maybe a corner outfield power bat. Who are the possibilities? Again, we're going to hear these names over and over again, right? Crochet, Flaherty. I think Flaherty would fit this team pretty well. Innings eater. We love that term, don't we, Drew? Luis Severino, guy to keep an eye on. Hasn't pitched horribly for the Mets. Hasn't gotten hurt, which is a big thing for him. Eric Fetty. Chris Bassett. Another name that will probably be available. Luis Robert, this is a team I don't see going all in on Robert because, again, it's going to be expensive. You know, you're going to see somebody like the Dodgers or some knucklehead team thinks they're going to win it all. Sorry, Danny. The Dodgers got a good team. Taylor Ward, Jose Sanchez, another guy we hadn't mentioned, another Mariner, all of the Marlin, another Marlin. They're all going to be available, all of them. Michael Conforto slowed down after a quick start with the Giants. Rooker, Kierstad. They are one of the top teams in baseball right now. Top teams in the American League, I should say. Who's out there? Kenny Quast, Taylor Phillips. Check out the Michigan Truth podcast. Good stuff Taylor does over there if you're still listening. And hello, Kenny Quast. We got a lot of guys right now on the X feed again. Great job, guys. A lot of guys on TGI Sports Talk. I'll get back to your comments as soon as I go down this. Kansas City Royals, back end of the bullpen. Listen, they got a lot of surprises. So any one of these guys that have been playing better than we would have expected could implode. So this team, I'm sure they're going to think they want to make the playoffs and obviously reinforce the bench, the back end of the bullpen, maybe get an outfield bat. You got all the same team guys mentioned. They're not going after Luis Robert. Look for guys like Eddie Rosario, Gavin Sheets. I mean, that's what I would see here. Kyle Finnegan on the pitching side. I think Kyle Finnegan's going to get a lot of attention, I think. Garcia, Clevenger. These are all guys that could be potential guys there. The Twins, right hitting corner outfielder and pitching depth. They could go in for Robert. It's possible. I don't know what their minor league situation is off the top of my head, but I think this is a team that might think they're a player away. Rosarina, Lane Thomas, all possibilities, I think, for that outfield spot. Eric Fetty, Sandoval, Severino might fit here as well. Don't forget Trevor Williams on the DL, but possibility. Tigers, lineup, starting, pitching, bullpen, everywhere. This team needs help everywhere. They sent, Torkelson to the minors last week. And they're not likely to remain in the race the way they're playing right now. As much as I liked them early in the year, I don't think they're going to stay in the race. They will likely trade. If they don't stay in the race, they're going to trade guys like Flaherty. They could trade their closer, Foley. Canha be certainly a candidate. And the White Sox, they're going to trade everybody. If you got prospects, call the White Sox. That's a great rumor about Taylor Ward in Kansas City. Perfect fit. KC would send a handful of Nelson Lariano's back to California. Taylor's going to get some play too. Taylor Ward, I think, is going to get some play in this trade market as well. Royals look good against the M's. Listen, they looked good yesterday coming against the Yankees. They had a no-hitter for 7 innings, I think. They lost the lead, then they came back in the ninth. That game was a wacky game last night after they lost the first 2 to the Yankees, I believe. My memory, again, served me right. Crochet's a big bet if the Sox don't want to build around him. Is he a guy you're really going to build around, though? I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's that ace. He's a nice 3rd, 4th starter, I think, on a good team. Just not sure he's a guy you want to build around. I mean, if they had more, I'd say yeah. Out west, the Mariners, 9 games over 500, now 5.5. I think they were 5.5 ahead of the Rangers last week. Rangers got 1-2 in a row, but still 2 games under 500. One of the most disappointing teams in baseball is the defending champions. The Astros aren't far behind them as far as disappointments, or maybe even ahead of them, depending how we're looking at this. 7 games under 500 again. The Angels are out of it after getting hot after a team meeting after 2 games this year. Feel bad for Ron Washington, really good baseball man. He's stuck with an impossible situation here. And the A's are the A's. 14 games out now, 2-8 in their last 10, 6 in a row they've lost after, a surprising start. Mariners, we already talked about the Mariners, so I'm going to move past them. The Rangers. Look, the Rangers are going to get healthy and get a lot of guys, theoretically, right? I mean, you may have Jacob deGrom, Maul, or Mail, however you want to say it, Scherzer, Bradford, Josh Young coming off the disabled list. So you're getting yourself a starting third baseman, basically, in coming off the IL, and 3/4 of a starting rotation, which is going to help your bullpen. If guys like Dane Dunning can pitch out of the pen, it's going to help their middle relief. And so I don't know if they're going to trade for a big star. I think bench help and middle relief if all these guys are healthy. Maybe, they're, oh gosh, here we go again. Who was the guy I put all my freaking, one of the guys I put all my cash on in the, my drafts was their left, Evan Carter. Big disappointment. I mean, he comes back. Maybe he does what he was expected to do. I don't want to hear about injuries either, Alan. I don't know where you are, but so Reed Garrett pitched really well, by the way. McFarland, Austin Adams, Floro, Wilson, Foley, Romero, all guys that would fit that middle relief role for them. And I think bench guys like Brendan Donovan, Rosario, Gavin Sheets, Tommy Pham, these would all be guys that would fit what the Rangers are looking for, I think. The Astros, I don't think the Astros are going to cash it in. I think the Astros think we're close enough to, and again, that could change a lot in 4 or 5 weeks. And I guarantee you it's a team that thinks if they can get to the playoffs, they're going to want to be in. Starting pitching, first baseman, they released Abreu today or yesterday. Starting pitching, they've had a plethora of injuries there, and a reliever. So Luzardo, Crochet, Severino, Fetty, Trevor Williams, all guys that'll be in play here. Pete Alonso would be an interesting guy to keep an eye on here for the Astros. They don't have that big bat. Again, and they may be able to live with the strikeout home run thing. And they may think they can re-sign him. And if I'm the Mets, I'm trading him. We've talked about this forever. If the Mets don't trade him, they're nuts. Because they can negotiate with him as a free agent. He's going to go to free agency. We know this. And if the Mets lose him in free agency after making a qualifying offer, the chances are they will get like a 4th-round draft pick as compensation. You might as well trade him. So anyway, I think Guerrero will be in play there and Goldschmidt. Kyle Finnegan, bullpen, Tanner Scott, among some others. That's what I see there. The Angels are going to trade, everybody but Mike Trout, and probably is going to be available here. Taylor Ward, I think, will be very well sought after. Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval. But what are you going to get? You got to get prospects and hope for the best. Prospects are called prospects for one reason. The A's, again, what are they going to look for? Starting pitching, shortstop for the future. They got some bodies to trade in Sears and Blackburn, who's hurt right now. Mason Miller, I understand they want to keep him. And they might want to keep Sears as well, which means they're not going to get much back. Take a flyer on somebody. Got to go faster here. I got to go faster so we can get done here 4 shortly after. Rangers praying desperately that Scherzer and DeGrom will save them. Agreed, Drew. This was a weird strategy to begin with. I said DeGrom would hurt this team, and it's going to hurt them. If he can't pitch ever, they won a World Series, and maybe that's okay. And he didn't really help them get there. But they won a World Series, and maybe that's good enough for the Texas Ranger fans. But I do think that these deals are going to hurt them in the pocketbook. This isn't the Yankees we're talking about. Happy birthday, former Patriots. Pirates legend Randy Tomlin, left-handed pitcher, by the way. Today he's 58. I think he's a lefty-handed pitcher. He played for the Padres as well. Came out of the same Lynchburg program that produced Lee Gutterman and Sid Bream. Lee Gutterman, former Yankee. Sid Bream, former Pirate. Brave. One pirate that looked like a pirate. Which one are you talking about? Problem with many of these teams is they were relying on growth of their hitters, and it hasn't come. That's a very good point, Drew. We talked about the Rangers issue and Carter. Rays, kind of same thing. And again, that's been the Rays model. Trade pitchers that they can't control anymore, or players they don't want to, pay for young guys. And they've been very good in the talent, the eye for talent department. And right now they're having a bad year. That's going to happen. I would agree with the Tigers, the Twins, the Reds. We'll talk about the Reds in a second. Reds are an interesting point here. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. Hi. Usually we see you early on a Friday, right at the top of the hour. Good to see you with us. Oh, check out Daniel Barry's stuff on YouTube, everybody. I did mention a couple of times the Astros have released Abreu. Is somebody going to pick him up? Probably, but he's spent. He's done. Maybe he's got one spurt left in him. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, as a Yankee fan, we're not picking him up. I know that. Let's move to the National League quickly. Phillies, 9-game lead now over the Braves. The Braves now have admitted that the injuries are hurting them badly. They just figured this out. Best player in baseball is out for the year. One of the best pitchers in baseball is out for the year. Got other guys that aren't hitting. Are they going to be able to make it go like they did when they won the World Series and they go find Adam Duvall, who I think is already on the team, and Jock Peterson? I feel like they traded for Charlie Morton that year as well. Could be wrong there, but are there 3 big acquisitions where guys will, and Soler, 4 big acquisitions who played way over their head at that point. Charlie Morton's a professional pitcher, but all those other guys played above their heads in my mind in that year, and the Braves took advantage of it and won a World Series. Can you make that happen twice in a row? I don't know. But they're 9 games out of first, 6 games over 500. They're making the playoffs. I'd be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs. Nationals a bit of a surprise, only 4 games under 500. The Mets are a mess, but they've won a couple in a row, 6 out of their last 10. And the Marlins, 2-8, last 10. 23 games out of first. What's going to happen here in the East? I got to go quicker. The Phillies, I don't know if the Phillies are going to make a big splash move for Robert, because do they want to screw their kids up and their farm system up? I don't think so. I'd look at guys like Tommy Pham, Lane Thomas, Gavin Sheets, Jake McCarty is a guy that I keep hearing about for the Diamondbacks. A guy I loved last year. Tell why I've had 2 bad years in a row, right, Drew? The Braves, again, I don't think they think they're out of it. They may look at Tommy Pham. They'll look at Eddie Rosario, who's been there before, Gavin Sheets, McCarty. Ian Happ's a name to watch for a lot of these teams, depending on what the Cubs feel like they need to do. Kierstad, Sanchez, Fraley, who's been probably the Reds' most consistent player, if they trade. Conforto, Rosarina, all these guys are going to be in play. So are Fetty and Williams and Blackburn's a guy to keep in mind, too. Pete Blackburn has been hurt a lot early in the year, and he could come back here later and maybe make a big difference for somebody. So I don't think the Braves are counting themselves out. I don't think the Nationals are going to fool themselves. I think they're 1 game out of a wild card spot or 2, not far. It's going to be interesting. If they think they got a chance to make the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see if Mike Rizzo trades a lot of guys. If he thinks he's close, he might want to go for it. I wouldn't. You know, you got a bunch of guys that could be bench assets. I hate to say Joey Gallo's name, but somebody will probably take him. But you got Rosario, Senzel, and Winkler, guys that, you know, aren't going to be a huge part of this team's future that teams could use as a part today. So I would look for them to trade some of those parts for some other maybe younger parts, if you will. The Mets, they're going to look for prospects and starting pitching most likely. Pete Alonso is going to be the most attractive guy. Severino, I think they'll be the 2 guys to watch out for. Would bring the most back. And if they don't trade Alonso, they're nuts. I'll say it one more time. The Marlins, everybody's going to be available. They need bats. They've got pitching up the yazoo. It isn't yazoo either, by the way. My wife keeps telling me. Drew, tell me what it is. Wazoo? I'm sorry. Marlins don't have any untouchables, most likely. Luzardo, I mentioned, has maybe the most value of the guys that they have, but Tanner Scott's going to bring back a bunch because teams love hot closers, right? Josh Bell will probably get some interest, as we talked about. So that's the East. Remember, Dombrowski's running the fill, so blowing up their minors tends to be his MO. It'd be silly in this. They don't need, to go all in for Robert. They really don't. They need a piece. For them to disrupt their pitching or any of the prospects that they'll need down the road, I think it would be foolish. The NL Central, I'm running out of time here. The Brewers, 6.5 up on the Cardinals. Cardinals trying to hang in there. They made a run, got over 500. They're in second place again ahead of the Reds, who are resurgent, 8-2 in their last 10. They had a good week the week before this as well, as we talked about last week. So they're back in the wild card race. The Cubs trying to take themselves out, 4-6 in their last 10, 7.5 out of the lead of first place, closer to the wild card, obviously. And the Pirates are going nowhere. The Brewers starting pitching and relief pitching. They're happy with their lineup. They're going to be in play for Luzardo and Severino. Severino, good spot for Severino again. That'd be a good spot for Crochet. Relief pitchers, again, I don't see them going after who are the top guys? Tanner Scott probably and Finnegan might be that are going to be available. But they'll be in play for those guys. They might surprise you, though. They're happy with their lineup. But depending on what happens with the Pete Alonso market, keep an eye on the Brewers. Cubs, catcher, bullpen depth, a bat. A lot of disappointments in this. Their catchers have been awful. Yan Gomes hitting 150 and how do you say this guy's? Amaya is hitting 190. They got 4 homers between them. It's terrible, man. I could do that. No, I couldn't. We haven't talked about catchers, but Elias Diaz is a guy that's going to be available, having a nice first half. Melendez, who's been a bit of a disappointment. Wong, Langoliers from Oakland. Danny Jansen's a possibility. The relief pitchers, all the guys we've talked about already are going to be in play. The Reds, they need some offense and need some bullpen depth. JD Martinez is a possibility. Although, I don't know where they're going to. They get him or Alonso, and Alonso could come into play here. I don't know where they play him. Right? They got a first baseman. I don't know. What's really hurt them is Marte getting suspended and McLean being hurt for shoulder surgery. Injuries to Encarnacion Strand. I see this team going for a bat. I think a JD Martinez, a Jimenez from the White Sox, Josh Bell all fit. Maybe they take a flyer on a guy like Alonso. I'm going to be very close getting out of here at 4 o'clock. It might be 4:05. So, Rich, if you're still with me, I think I got a 5-minute ride up the road, depending on the traffic. If I can make a left on 146. The Cardinals, a proven starter. I think they're in it. I think they like their lineup. I think they'll look at the Fettys and Williams, the Blackburns, Tyler Anderson. They could look to move a Hensley. Depending on where they are in this race, they could look to move Hensley or Gibson or even Goldschmidt. But if they're going to try to stay in this, starting pitchers where I see them go. The Pirates, they're the Pirates. Does it really matter? Probably offense. Are they going to go for Luis Robert when you're never going to sign him to a long-term contract anywhere or pay him? Probably not. De La Cruz from the Marlins, Sanchez from the Marlins, Tyler O'Neill is a guy we haven't mentioned. He could get picked up. That they got some young pitchers. They need to get some offense going here. And unfortunately, as much as I love Charlie Hayes, but Cabrian is just not. I don't know if he's got enough power to play the one of those corner positions. And I like the kid. I like his defense a lot. I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to get it going here. K-Van was flanked by coaches in the Dodgers locker room. They run things a bit goofy in Toronto. They're Canadian, Chris. I'm just kidding. It is Wazoo, so I'll keep saying Yazoo. I've been saying Yazoo for 60 years. Have a good weekend, buddy. See you on Sunday. Good seeing you. Let's get to the West, and maybe we can get to the weekend schedule and get out of here. The Dodgers continue to lead by 6 games over the Padres, who have stuck 2 games over 500 with a 3-game winning streak. The Giants, again, my second underdog pick or my National League underdog pick, if you will, with the Tigers being my American League one. Kind of playing the same way as the Tigers, maybe a little bit better right now. 1 game under 500. The Diamondbacks still struggling. They are 6-4 in their last 10, but 3 games under 500. And the Rockies, of course, are the Rockies. The Dodgers, again, outfield and bullpen. Do not count them out. To me, this is where Luis Robert will end up. They're not afraid to go and trade minor leaguers because they continue to develop them. So I think guys like Robert, maybe a Cedric Mullen, if the Orioles decide to move him, a bit of a disappointment the last couple seasons. Taylor Ward, who we talked about, maybe moving across town. Jazz Chisholm, who is a guy we haven't talked about, probably could be on the move. That's a thing you can say. Michael Conforto, Spencer Steer. First time I've heard Steer's name come up was in this comment about the National League West. Interesting. Ian Happ, of course, in play. Tanner Scott. Listen, if they want somebody, they'll go out and get them. The Padres, impact starter. A lot of starters hurt there. A lot of starters hurt all over baseball, as we've talked about. Right-handed reliever, bench upgrade. Their lineup's good. So Lazard will be in play here. All the guys we talked about. Crochet, Feedy, Flaherty, relief pitchers, all the same guys we talked about on the bench. Look at Donovan, Tommy Edman from the Cardinals is a possibility. Adam Toro. I think they love their lineup. I think they need to fix the bench and the pitching, and this team could make a run. Giants shortstop, letting Crawford go is probably a mistake. Center fielder, the top guy they list here is Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's not getting traded, I don't think. I think he's the one guy the Blue Jays will hang on to. Willie Adames, he's not getting traded either. But Paul DeJong, Zach Neto, not getting traded. It's amazing. I don't know why they list these guys. Nito's not getting traded. Adames is not getting traded. But DeJong, Blaze Alexander, Caballero for the Rays, maybe. Robert could be in play. Remember, the Giants have been trying to make a big deal with an outfielder for a long time. An outfielder, a bat. First it was Judge, then it was Ohtani. Robert could be in their sights. Chisholm, Mullins, these guys, Harrison Bader, these guys could all be in play. The Diamondbacks that need a reliever and get healthy, they've been injured. Injuries all over the place on this team. But injuries, look at you got to play through them and win. They need to get Zach Gallen, Rodriguez, and Kelly in a lineup, or it doesn't matter. They shouldn't make a lot of moves and trade a lot of collateral if they can't get these guys healthy, because there's no reason to. And the Rockies, does it matter? They're going to screw up whatever they do anyway. Their biggest asset right now is Diaz, the catcher, who's having a pretty good first half, especially power-wise, I think. I do think you may see him get traded. And the Cubs would be a good place for him, actually. And then we'll go through these comments. I'll go through the schedule, and then we're going to get our butts out of here. Small market teams like to tweak lineups with prospects and cast-offs, not big free agents to be. That's why they stay small market and they don't win. Because they don't want to spend the revenue sharing that they get. We fight to get revenue sharing, and then we put the money in our pocket and we don't make our team better. What's the point? Montgomery and Snell have been hurt by their Boris holdouts, so their respective teams need to adjust accordingly. It's a great point, Drew. And JD Martinez, you could probably include in there too. I mean, he's been okay, right? But to me, not anything great. Let's look at the schedule this weekend, and then we'll make our way out of here. If you got last comments, get them up here while I do the schedule for the weekend and tonight's starters to kick off these series, unless they kicked off last night. Right now, we got the Cubs and the Cubbies and the Cardinals are playing right now. In fact, and the score is 0-0, still in the bottom of the seventh. Gibson started this game and is still in there from the looks of it. He's pitching. He started against Jordan Wicks. We got the Yankees and the Red Sox in their first big series of the year. Luis Gil against Bello, the Cy Young Award winning, contending number one starter for the Red Sox. Said nobody ever. The Marlins and the Nationals, Anderson and Gore. Phillies at Baltimore, Suarez and Bradish. Nice matchup there. Nice series, as JB mentioned, in Baltimore this weekend. The team formerly known as the Indians at the Blue Jays. Gausman, that's Allen against Gausman. Padres at the Mets. Matt Waldron against Manaea. The Rays at Atlanta. Zach Littell against Chris Sale. Chris Sale's quietly had a decent year, and he's going to need to really pick it up to help carry this team to the postseason and any hope they have of winning a series. The Red Hot Reds against the Brewers, Hunter Green and Freddie Peralta. That's a nice matchup. Tigers against the Astros, two disappointing teams. A guy I liked a lot, Scooble, who I picked for the Cy Young Award, against Hunter Brown. The A's against the Twins, Mitch Spence against Woods Richardson. Pirates against the Rockies. That's the broken windshield game. If you leave 2 tickets on your dashboard, come back, your windshield smashed, and you got 4. Got to pay people to go see this game. Undecided for the Pittsburgh against Feltner. Looks like a bullpen game, eh? Chicago is going to be at Arizona, Flexen against Ryan Nelson. The Royals at the Angels. or that's the Dodgers, excuse me. Reagan's against Stone. Texas and Seattle, big series, Robert Wardell, big series. Andrew Haney against Castillo. Andrew Haney's a guy I can never understand. All these Ranger fans were so excited when they got Andrew Haney, and I still look back and I go, why? Why are you so excited about Andrew Haney? Don't get it. Good series. Important series for Texas, I think. Maybe you don't need to sweep, or you need to be competitive in this series, or things are going to get ugly. And the Angels at the Giants. Anderson against Howard. And we're getting ready to wrap it up. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, Michael, I see you just getting here. We should probably look at how our preseason predictions are going. Hint, probably not well. We'll do that in the next couple weeks, Rick. Drew. I know a couple of mine are not. We'll have you on, and we'll kind of do this once we get. I don't know. Maybe we'll wait till we get into July here. We're almost through the month. It's been a hectic month, work wise, and a lot of stuff going on. So, but we'll look to do that. And Michael Gott across the river, across the pond. Good to have you with us. Sorry, we're on our way out. Michael, sorry you didn't get with us. Try to get with us Sunday morning if you would with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. I want to thank again my guest this morning. Go watch the interview that I did this morning with Paul Rosen, para-athlete, gold medal, Paralympic gold medal winner in hockey. Has written a great inspirational book. We had a great conversation with Paul about his life, the trials he's gone through. Great conversation. And next week we'll have Jim Sundberg, former Texas Ranger catcher, on, and we'll be on Sunday with the Stream of Consciousness. We'll see you guys then. Keith Engle for the MLB update here on TGI Sports Talk. We'll catch you later. Have a great weekend. See you, Michael. Sorry, buddy. Bye-bye.